Hi, Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be doing an iPad screen repair. This is the 8th generation A2270. And of course, the first thing you need to have is make sure you have a safety goggle. You want to have this at all times to protect your eyes while you're doing the repair. Because any of the broken glass at given any time when you try to repair or pry it open, it may fly to the eye or to your face. So always safety first. All right, let me show it to you. Let's turn it around. The model number here, if you take a closer look, hopefully the focus can see that. Here it says A2270. And this is the iPad 8th generation. So the impact on the glass is shattered and also damaged the home button. So it says unable to active Touch ID on this iPad. So you can't use a fingerprint or Touch ID to unlock it. You would have to put a passcode to do that. But other than that, the home button works. If you press it, it comes on. The clicker works, it's just that the Touch ID doesn't work. Now let's go ahead and turn off the iPad. Press and hold the top power button, slide it to turn off, and you can see that the iPad glass is cracked, but the LCD is still good. So we'll be replacing the LCD here. We'll be replacing the digitizer here. So this is the glass digitizer, and we'll be replacing with the new glass on this. There are a few tools that you need to have, like a prying tool, double-sided adhesive tape. This is the red tape. I'll be using a super glue, and this super glue is to hold the bracket for that home button. The home button has a bracket behind it, because when you press, you feel that little clicker. The clicker needs a support from the back, and this glue would hold on to that bracket for you. Few other items like scissors to cut off the tape, screwdriver to remove some screws, as well as some plastic prying tool here. The process of this repair, it can be quite challenging. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. It is not quite easy if this is your first time doing this, but you might want to watch the video, the entire tutorial. Maybe this is something that you feel comfortable with. If you're handy enough, then you may able to get some idea on how to do the repair. And last but not least, I'll be using the heat gun, and this heat gun here is for me to warm up the screen. You need to heat up the screen to warm the original tape, the Apple original adhesive tape. Then you can easily remove the broken glass. If you do not have the heat gun, you can try to use hair dryer. You can borrow one from your mom or your sister. If you have a pet, maybe you can borrow from your dog. If your dog needs to use the hair dryer to dry its fur. But other than that, I got all my tools and the replacement screen from Amazon. I can link them in the description below. So if you click the link, it will direct you to Amazon or direct you to eBay, where you can buy the replacement parts. Follow along my video, and hopefully you get an idea and get your iPad screen repaired. The easiest way to do is you want to find the local shop, or maybe go back to Apple and get the screen replaced. My estimated right now is November 22nd, year 2021. This is the iPad 8th generation. I think the market price for the repair might be going for about $180. I'm not sure by the time when you watch this video, the price might have gone down. But other than that, if you are around that range from $150 to $200, I might feel like it is more easier to just pay the money and get it done. But if you feel like something that you want to give yourself a try to do your own repair, I just hope that my video helps you. And if it does help you, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I do appreciate you for doing that. All right, it has been heated up quite a bit. Let's go ahead and get a prying tool and start to pry open the glass. Now it's going to be a lot of broken glass, tiny little pieces everywhere. So just make sure you have the safety goggle. Like I said, you need to have it at all times. You do not want this small glass end up in your eye. Then the cost of the repair is very expensive. You know what I mean. Hospital bills and whatnot. So I'm sitting right underneath the AC. The AC is blowing at me and it is not helping because it kind of hardened the glue right away. So you might want to always come back and reheat it. That is why you don't have to heat up the entire iPad. You just want to heat at the area that you're working with. And try not to stay in one position like this. You want to constantly keep moving up and down, because when you apply too much heat on one corner, I do not want that heat to penetrate and damage the internal part, like the camera or the batteries or the logic board or maybe the LCD screen, right? So you want to keep moving that heat sink, or sorry, the heat gun, so that the heat is not concentrated in one location. Do not want to cause any further damage. And also the way the iPad screen is cracked. For mine, the way it cracked, it's just annoying. It's very tiny crack all around the corner. It's not just like one crack. There's so many pieces right here. So every time when you try to pull it open, that tiny piece came off, and you got to work on the next one and the next one and the next one. That can be quite annoying. I do have other videos for iPad repair, the iPad 7, the iPad 6. So whichever iPad that you have and you need help with, go check out my website, the channel, and hopefully you're able to find the right video for your repair. And if you have any question, do not feel hesitate. Just comment below. I do read the comments, and I will try to help you through the comments. So what you want to do is to pay a lot more attention at the bottom here. The bottom is where the Wi-Fi is located. The home button wire, the flex cable is all underneath at the bottom here. So pay close attention when it comes to the bottom. Take your time, do not rush it, because breaking anything is going to cost you more money, cost you more time to fix. You know, you're going to spend a lot more time to fix the problem. So just take your time, do not rush when it comes to the very bottom here. And I'll show it to you where the Wi-Fi antenna stay. So my damage is right by the home button, so I'm having a lot of difficulties here. Hopefully you do not have the same crack like I do. All right, so if you take a closer look here, the Wi-Fi antenna is at the bottom left and the bottom right. So that is the two-part area that I want you to pay extra careful. And the final thing is that you want to pay a lot more details and be very careful not to break it is the home button cable right here. You can see that there's a cable running across. We are saving the button and transferring it over to the new screen. So what I like to do is I like to save this button here by not breaking the flex cable. Flex cable is this tiny little wire. We can always come back and clean the bracket, right? All right, so this is the home button cable. Do not break it, do not cut it, do not damage it. We want to come back and transfer it to the new screen. So my home button is pretty bad, right? All the broken glasses are still around. So I like to come back and clean it up. Usually it should not take me this long to do it. But there is a little bit story behind of this iPad. What happened is that the reason why the thing cracks so bad on the home button and disable the touch ID because a client of mine, the little kid, accidentally, unintentionally spill some of the glue on top the home button. So this little white stuff here, so hard to remove, is actually a crazy glue that was accidentally on the home button here. And because of that and the way it cracked, it make it worse and make it to a point that the Touch ID is damaged. It's not able to save it. However, the clicker still works. I can still able to press it and click it. It's just that you would have to put in the passcode each time rather than using the Touch ID. What happened if you replace the new home button? That might be a good question you're going to ask. It won't work with the iPad. So each iPad itself is registered with the home button Touch ID. If you install any third-party home button, the home button would not work. It will show you the same error message saying that the Touch ID is not activated. Okay, I think I cleaned out the broken pieces pretty well for the home button. Now I can move on to the next step. This is quite a debatable question. Some people say I might damage the iPad, but I have done this many years and I have not come across any damage on this part. So I'll go ahead and just did what I do. I just went ahead and cut off the cable. So there is a cable. This is what the digitizer cable is. If you look at the new screen, this is the flex cable that connects to the back of the LCD onto the iPad. So it was like this, and I cut it off so that I can easily remove it. There are a few more other steps you need to do in order to get to the digitizer connector. So instead of having this broken glass all over on the table, I like to have a clean surface to work on, right? I do not want to get cut. I do not want to get hurt. So why keeping the broken glass here and doing the rest of other stuff? So it is easier, in my opinion, okay? It's easier to just cut it off, throw this dangerous broken glass. So you have a clean table, clean environment, and continue with the repair. So earlier you saw that the iPad is a working condition, right? I was able to turn off the iPad at a very early stage. So I would not skip the video. I would not fast forward the video or edit the video. I want to be very transparent. Start to finish. I'm taking my time, walking through step by steps. I'm not rushing the process or cutting any corners to for this video. I do not want to deliver the wrong message, so I like to be very transparent in this. Make sure that you can follow along my video, and hopefully my video can help you to do your repair. All right, so I'm coming back here to clean off some of the broken glass. You can see that some of them are still hanging around here. All right, so the next step I like to do is to hurry up and get all these little broken pieces off of the iPad, so we can get going on to the next step. The next step is to remove the LCD screen. So there is a little tape here, the black tape. Go ahead and peel it off a little. Get your Phillips screwdriver and remove that one screw. There are 4 screws total. This is the second screw. We have the third screw at the bottom and the fourth screw here at the bottom. Alright, so once you have all the 4 screws removed, I want you to pay a close attention. Do not force, do not fast forward any of these steps, okay? I just cut off this little black plastic thing. You actually do not need them. They try to cover the screw, but there you know it is hidden behind the tape. Now the next step, here is the important part. The LCD, they do have this little black gooey rubber. It is glue onto the LCD. So I'm using a tweezer and trying to get underneath to scrape off that glue. Once the glue is off, you can remove the LCD screen. So they make it to protect. I'm not sure what they protect. Maybe make it difficult for us to do the repair. I just don't get it. If you have the screw onto the LCD, it is already fastened and secure. Why would you put the glue on this? Comment below if you know why. I'd like to hear what's the reason. Why do they do that? It just makes things more difficult. That is why I said at the very beginning, it is not that easy for this repair. Alright, so as you can see, I already free up one corner here. You just have to scrape off the rubber, and there you go. So work on the next part. All I'm doing right now is just scraping off that rubber. I know it's hard for you to see it, but trust me, if you open up your iPad, you can see this black gooey rubber. And this LCD screen is very fragile. So if you put a lot of pressure, you may crack the LCD, and that might cost you additional money for the replacement. So take your time. Again, like I said, do not rush. All right, there you have it. I just remove the 2 screws. I mean the 2 rubber thing. They do have it on the 3rd and the 4th at the bottom, but as long as you lift it straight up, you can easily get it up. Now lift the screen at about 90-degree angle. Get your Phillips screwdriver here. Remove the 3 screws. And remove that bracket. And go ahead and disconnect the LCD screen. And this is the thing that we cut off earlier, right, in the video for the digitizer. I know that some people would be like, hey, you know, you're supposed to disconnect the battery, It is true, you need to disconnect the battery first. I still have the battery connected. I'm not disconnecting the battery. Please do not hate me on this. Like I said, I feel like it is okay if the iPad is already turned off. I'm not accidentally pressing or pushing down the power button. I'll be fine with that. Just be careful. But if you feel like you need more safety and security reason, go ahead and disconnect the battery by removing that 1 screw and stick the pin underneath. So the way it works is that the battery and the connector, they kind of touch on top of each other, just like that. All right, with the screw that screws onto it. So once you remove the screw, stick the pin, the plastic pin in between that connector and separate them, then you do not have any power coming through and you'll be fine. But for me, I think it's another step of Apple make it this way for the security reason. If you stick it too deep, or maybe you disconnected not properly, you may damage the connector. Once you damage the connector here, that means you're damaging the board. And if you did not back up your stuff, there you go. You need to find somebody to fix the battery connector for you. All right, let's move on. I think it's too much sidetrack on explaining stuff. It's cleaning off the thing. Okay, so the next step is I like to come back and take a quick look, see any broken glass is still stuck in there. Come back and clean it off, because the new screen, it needs a flat and clean surface to sit on. So come back and clean all this gunk if you have any of them. You'll be surprised there are so many tiny broken glass are still attached to the screen, I mean to the iPad. So come back and clean it off. So what I'm doing is I'm just shaking it. Yeah, pretty sure there's a lot more hidden underneath the iPad. So give yourself a few knock on the iPad and all these broken pieces is here. All right, so let's move on to the next step. What I'll be using right now is I'll be using the double-sided adhesive tape. You need to have the tape to re-tape it again. I know some of you guys are like, hey, the new screen, the new digitizer actually comes with the pre-adhesive install. Why am I using additional tape on this? Well, there's one very good reason for that, because the pre-adhesive double-sided tape, they are not sticky. So if you don't trust me on this, I'm more than happy to share the experience I had. Is when I installed that less than a week, you can see that the new screen is starting to separate, meaning that the pre-adhesive here is not sticky enough. It is not, holding the screen well. So after about a week, and it starts separating. Let me know if that happens to you. All right, so I'm using a 2mm, 2mm, and this is the 3mm. 3mm on the top and bottom, 2mm on the side. It's a 2mm. So if this is your first time doing this, I would like to say that you might want to give yourself at least 2 hours. I'm not kidding. It actually took me quite some time when I first started replacing iPad screen. First of all, you're nervous. It's your first time, you're not sure if you can get it done correctly or not. Second of all is a lot of things you're not familiar with, right? So you may be try and error, and those take time. Now the next step here, what I'm doing is I'm putting the home button back together. Again, like I said, we are keeping the original home button because the Touch ID reason, right? You can't change with the third-party ones. If you by accidentally broke it, it's okay, because you can always buy the third-party home button and replace with this. Remember at the early stage I talked about the super glue that you need to have. This is the reason why you need to glue the bracket, so that the clicker have something to fall back on, and you can feel that the clicker is being held down. The bracket is being held down by the glue. Adjust the position. So I'm doing a few clicks while I'm holding the side. I'm pressing the home button on the other side of my finger. I just want to make sure the clicker is clicking well. Adjust the bracket accordingly, and then once you have the right position, just let it sit and let the glue dries up, and it would hold down the bracket. While we are waiting for that thing to dry, let's go ahead and reconnect the digitizer cable here. Now they're kind of like Lego. Take your time, you don't have to force it down. If you have it aligned in the right position, you can actually feel like the Lego would snap in and close it automatically by itself. You don't have to put a lot of strength. There's no need forcing it down. It just very by itself, and it would just click back in. All right, I hope I have this thing installed, because I really did not feel that that thing was pushed in, but we'll see. We will see. Next step, the screen. Next step, the bracket. Three screws. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll line the LCD. Align them on both sides and then let it rest, and then push it down a little. Clean off any of this dust and whatnot. Put the screws back in. There are 4 screws, remember? 2 on the top and 2 at the bottom. If you are still following along the video so far, you're pretty much close to done. I would say maybe 90% is close to done. Take a moment, pause your video, and look at the screen. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and notification bell. I really appreciate you for doing that. It kind of helps me to grow my channel. And again, if you have any question, comment below, and I'll try to answer those questions. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on the iPad. Press and hold the power button. You can see the Apple logo is coming right up. And I'm not closing up the iPad screen yet, because I like to test the home button, make sure it works. At the same time, make sure the touchscreen works as well before I seal everything back together. sure that the home button is working. So when I press it, it comes on. I press again, it goes to the home screen. And earlier, the home button was already damaged at the very beginning. So that is my error, the pop-up message I got. But for you, you shouldn't be seeing that Touch ID is not available. All right, so so far looks good. The home button works and the sensor on the touchscreen works. So let's go ahead and peel off the double-sided tape, and we're going to tape the new screen down. So we're pretty much almost done. At this point here, we're pretty much almost done. So if you still follow along with the video, congratulations. You get your iPad screen repaired. Right, so what you want to do is you want to take a closer look, make sure there's no dust or any cracked glass laying on top the LCD screen. You do not want to close the screen and something gets stuck underneath. So make sure you have everything off of your screen. Now I like to align my screen properly. So kind of aim the corner first, like the top corner and the bottom corner. Have them in the right position. And I'll come back here, remove the tape. And what I like to do is I like to get my prying tool, push the flex cable down, right? You do not want them to stick out, because if it stick out, you can't close it and the tape would not tape the screen. All right, so you want to come back, give yourself a little press. You don't have to press hard on it, just a firm press all along the corner. Once you have that press, come back, do a final check, make sure everything works, and yeah, there you have it. So hopefully the video helps. If you have any question, again, comment below, click the like button, subscribe. Until next time, take care now, bye.